Pokémon GO changed mobile gaming forever. Launching in July 2016, it turned phones into treasure maps and parks into wild Poke hangout spots overnight. Millions of people who had never played the Pokemon games before were suddenly walking around cities hunting these creatures, and for a while, it found like everybody was playing this game in the world. So, fast forward to today, Pokemon Go is still one of the biggest mobile games on the planet. It has generated billions in player spending since launched and has been one of the top earners year on year still since its launch. This is why exactly last year's news hit so hard for players when in March 2015 the game's division behind Pokemon Go was sold to Scopely in a deal worth around $3.5 billion. A move that had shifted the long term future of the game from Niantic to a big mobile games publisher. That change of ownership has come with a steady stream of updates and experiments. Some are clearly meant to re energise the player base, but some honestly feel like more of a churn than clarity. In today's video, I would like to run through what I think the new owners of Pokemon Go Scopely have been doing really well to engage the old players and bring new players into the game, as well as what I would really like to see them do going forward to make the game even better for solo and group players. So, the first change that I would like to talk about that Scopely has implemented is the new training level system and rewards that have come alongside that. The game's leveling path has been completely overhauled, with the cap significantly ranged and with the whole level curve rebalanced so players can level up more frequently, unlocking new rewards along the way. This revamp has also introduced new free daily rewards, a daily adventure egg which hatches for a bonus 10,000 XP, as well as other small consistent bonuses to allow players to feel they are gaining more XP as there are more levels to level up and more XP to be earned. In my opinion, I think this has really gave a new breath of fresh air into the game, as the old level system, it was very long time between levels and that was very demotivating for people trying to get to that level 50 mark, as it was a very big grind. So I definitely think that the new implementations they have got are going to make more players and especially lower level players more engaged, as they feel they're kind of achieving more and pushing forward more easily and more quicker as they're leveling up more than they would in the old leveling system. So, the second thing that Scopely have changed is with the friendship and trading mechanics. Scopely expanded the friendship progression and added a new friendship tier above best friends, which will eventually unlock a long requested remote trade mechanic for certain situations. Remote trades have split the community. Many solo players love trading without meeting in person, whilst other players also feel it dilutes the social interaction or opens for third-party sellers to be able to maybe matchmake and sell Pokemon that have generated like illegally or through a third-party service instead of actually legitimately getting these Pokemon. For me personally, I kind of feel both sides of this issue, because as a solo player, it's very hard to kind of get Pokemon and maybe regional Pokemon that you won't ever be able to get if you don't go to that country. Then it's really hard to get, and it's a really good idea. But I can also see why this could be took advantage of, and people could abuse this to gain Pokemon illegitimately and not funly, which is not the point of the game. The whole point of the game is to have fun and collect Pokemon. It's not to get these illegally and to do things in the wrong way. So I kind of get why people are pushing both sides of it. I like that they've again increased friendship, but the remote trades are something that for me, Pokemon Go, it's very hard to obtain Pokemon, and that's why your collection is very unique and very special. And I feel that these remote trades maybe have just diluted that a little bit, but I'm sure that it's something that Scopely did with really good intentions, and I'm hoping it's something that they will look to improve even more in the future. So the third change I'd like to talk about today, guys, is with Dynamax battles and kind of just the amount of content that they have increased in the game with this. I know that this was originally released by Niantic, but I really like the way that Scopely have. I guess maybe if this was the game plan the whole time, even if Niantic were still the developers, but I think it's still really, really good that they've kind of, especially with all the new levels that they've had, that they've actually been able to introduce a way to kind of consistently get XP, especially someone like solo player like me. It's very easy to go and do some of these Dynamax battles for a few thousand XP a time, and it's really good also, I find, for collecting candies for legendary Pokemon that have had Dynamax forms, so I can leave my Dynamax Latios in a spot for a day or two and it will come back with 5 to 10 candies. I think it's a really good experiment that they've done, and it's a really great way that they've expanded Pokemon Go alongside like raids as something new and different to do. And there's quite a lot of raid spots. I live in the city, so there's quite a lot of Dynamax spots that you can go to, but I think it's another really great thing that they've done to add to the game. The only thing I don't really like about it is kind of some of them I feel are a bit unbalanced. Some of the like 4-star, well, 4 like Terra raids, but I think that's just because maybe I'm bad. I don't know. And then finally, guys, the last thing that I want to talk about that obviously they've implemented is the Battle Pass. I think it's a really great system to complement the game, and I think they offer really good free rewards on the Battle Pass. And I think that, if you're somebody who is more invested into the game, it is really worth it. I'm not really keen on the fact that, for example, they put Eternatus behind the Battle Pass, but at least it was on the free side of the Battle Pass, so you did not have to pay to obtain it. But kind of, for me, that could be a slight red flag that maybe in the future, you never know, they could put Pokemon behind their paid Battle Pass. But I guess this is no different to event tickets that they've done for Pokemon in the past, but it just feels different now it's behind the Battle Pass. The only other real thing that I can comment on with the changes of Scopely made so far is when they did make the initial update to jump the levels up, they gave everybody a load of rewards for kind of how they did in the old progression and level system, and kind of I still haven't got rid of all of them items, and it's been how long since October 2025 since the update, how long ago has that been, and I still haven't got rid of all of the items, so I just haven't been able to spin Pokestops, and I don't know. It makes it harder to get daddy streaks and stuff. But that's just a slight thing that I guess will never happen again unless they change the way levels work again. But either way, it's something that happened to me, so I thought I'd mention. So that's the state of play. With some big money being put behind the game, a bunch of new experiments meant to push player engagement, and some genuinely great quality of life improvements, with some also pain points that the community has found. This is what I think I'd change as somebody who is quite an active player in the Pokemon Go community. I am mainly a solo player, and these are things that I would like to see changed about the game to make the experience more practical and player friendly for everybody in the community, from solo players right up to the people who play in bigger groups. So, the first thing I would like them to change or to do really is to make some really big efforts for the Pokemon's 30th anniversary. As it is also going to be Pokemon Go's 10th anniversary, it makes a real sense to try and get returning players back who maybe haven't come in and logged into the game. Grant free raid passes, bonus XP cushions, for example 2 times XP for the returning week, and maybe add temporary expanded item and Pokemon storage and one anniversary daily ticket that increases shiny odds for specific types each day. So for example, day 1 maybe fire types have increased shiny odds, day 2 could be water, for example. Roll that shiny boost across the event so returning players get a meaningful limited time window to feel lucky. Pair the return with account bonuses and with optional short nostalgia story quests that unlock monster prizes and cosmetic avatar items. I think it'd be a really great way to engage players who maybe even played 5 or 10 years ago, who still have their accounts but haven't touched the game in a long time. And I think it'd be a really great way for the 30th anniversary to get as many people back playing Pokemon Go as possible, and maybe possibly getting the game to feel just about like it was in 2016 again. I definitely think that Scopely can have a look at a company like Supercell, who do this returning player system really, really well, especially for games like Clash of Clans and Clash Royale. I've recently been reintroduced to Clash Royale, and their returning player system really felt made it easy to get back into the game, and I had a load of fun, and it's kind of become a game I've played regularly again now due to the kind of good system they had for making the game easy to get back into and learn all the new things I had been missing out on since I last played the game. So definitely, as well as focusing on returning players, I think that Scopely should try to get new players into the game and breathe some fresh air to it with some new players. I definitely think they could consider offering around the 30th anniversary a new trainer pass. This new trainer pass could offer new players a boosted XP level for the first maybe 10 levels that they play, a stack of Pokeballs, some incubators, and some another initial small bonuses like max raid particles and extra raid passes to try and do some raids. That will hopefully introduce some more players, whilst as well getting some other players who maybe have returned back into the game. I definitely think, as well as this, they could look to experiment and change how the raid structure and cycles work. For example, they have been trying with some of the Mega Revolutions to release 3 at the same time, and I have noticed that has reduced the queue significantly on things like Pokegenie that I use to kind of remote raid and get people to join me remotely. I definitely think they could try this again, but with legendary Pokemon that they release each week as well, maybe they could start the system by they have Pokemon running every 2 weeks, and then after the first week of that Pokemon, they will release another Pokemon that runs for 2 weeks. So at any point, there will be two Pokemon, one with 2 weeks left and one with 1 week left on their rotation. I definitely think that would reduce kind of queues in these Pokemon apps that you use to kind of join remote raids third party. I definitely think at least if they didn't want to implement these kind of queue systems within the app, I think there's things they can do because there's probably going to be definitely a significant amount of people who are still playing solo. So I definitely think kind of considering these changes for these sort of players like us would really get the player base up and motivated again. So next up, I think that also I would like them to try and make changes to the way Dynamax/Gigantamax raids work. I definitely think the way they do it at the moment is really great, as I mentioned in the previous segment of this video. But I think they could also do a lot more to help solo players. Again, introducing some sort of queue system to help you allow get remote raiders into your games to help you join these sort of maybe Dynamax battle weekends, as they sometimes they're not as accessible. I get that they're supposed to be a bit of harder content, but still it's not accessible for all players. I definitely think that kind of doing this, as well as hopefully kind of increasing the amount of Gigantamax events, would be really great. I don't think they run the Gigantamax Pokemon as much as they really should, and that means that kind of players who have returned in the last 6 months still might have not been able to see a lot of the Gigantamax Pokemon. I definitely think it's something that they need to prioritise putting back into the weekend event rotations a little bit more, or at least still running these events alongside other events as well, just to give the people options of lots of different things to do within the game as well. So the next thing that I would like them to implement within the game is due to the new Pokemon game, Pokemon Champions, that is due to release on the Switch and the mobile at some point in 2026. This is going to be the new VGC competitive hub for battling in Pokemon. And I think that we've been told that Pokemon Home is going to be where you need to transfer all your Pokemon to be able to use them in this Pokemon Champions first. I think that this is a negative for people who only maybe play Pokemon Go, as it means they're going to lose access to them Pokemon they have to move into Pokemon Home, as well as if this is going to be a already mobile app that's going to be able to be used on the go, why can't we just connect Pokemon Go straight to Pokemon Champions to allow maybe people who don't own Switches and only play with Pokemon on their phone to also just have a total access to a full library of Pokemon only via playing their phone rather than having to get a Switch as well to enjoy one of their favourite franchises. Another thing I would like them to change and reconsider is reworking the gyms and make them a more active daily objective. Keeping the coin economy, but adding in daily time-based activities that could give gyms more active engagement-based bonuses. Rewards for defeating longer held gyms, time gym challenge tasks, and regional or national team competitions with meaningful prizes that could drive more frequent interaction with gyms and rewards players for actually playing and defending their territory. As someone who lives in I'd say mediumly active area for Pokemon Go, I can see sometimes some gyms that maybe go up to week to 2 weeks where they don't get Pokemon knocked out. So I definitely think in adding and expanding on the system where you kind of are offering better, bigger rewards and kind of offering bonuses for gyms. So if a gym is being not like if you defeat a gym after 7 days, you get like another 5,000 XP for leaving it for, or not leaving it for so long, but for getting it after so long. So it motivates players to kind of hit different gyms and go to different gyms and do different challenges at them all the time. I definitely think this could be expanded as well to go on a kind of competing at global levels, Team Red versus Team Yellow and Blue, and kind of do it for global challenges. You know how we all work as a team normally, maybe splitting this within the teams, and then the winning team will then also get a reward for doing the best. Maybe we all get some sort of reward, but kind of maybe there's extra rewards for the team that does the best. I definitely think that you kind of know there's lots of different ways you could go with gyms and these sort of things, but I definitely think there are lots of positives and ways to make them more interactive within the community and the game. So the final small thing that I would change today, guys, is how the inventory system is managed and making rewards smarter. I'd add a one-tap inventory system that allows you to convert duplicate items that you don't want. For example, maybe you could set the max raspberries that you want to 100, so then any could be maybe deleted out of the inventory automatically or converted into items that you do want. For example, maybe you could do some sort of conversion system with tokens that I think would kind of help the waste in poker, especially after the update that I mentioned earlier, where we had a lot of items plotted into our inventory. I think definitely you should be able to use this to maybe get items that you do think will be useful in the future. So guys, to wrap up the video, I really hope you guys have enjoyed listening to all the things I have liked and not so liked about the changes that I've made so far, and the changes that I think would really make improvements to the game going forward. I think that Pokemon GO still has incredible bones to be a really great game. The additions of things like Gigantamax raids and battle passes really show that the future is still there and that Scopely are really looking to make this game still a very active community. I really hope that the 30th anniversary and Pokemon GO's 10th anniversary they can really use to draw new players in and make the game a really more active place again. I really hope you enjoyed listening to my video, and I really hope that you would implore to leave a like and maybe subscribe if you would like, and maybe check out some other videos I have on the channel, as they are around similar Pokemon topics at the moment. I really hope you have enjoyed watching, and thank you very much again for watching. My name has been Freaksy, and I will see you all again very soon.